onto Sunshine Motorway.
Hello, welcome to the debrief. It's Dave O'Neill here, in a car with the comedy legend Jacques Barret. Did I say that right?
It's close enough. Traditionally, it's pronounced Jacques, but I'm not a stickler.
And we
Onto Sunshine Motorway.
Your name.
we're in Queensland, Jacques' home state.
Yeah.
And we're going to Noosa from Maroochydore. And you're from Chinchilla, is that right?
Yeah, I'm at the Sticks in Queensland originally. Did most of my formative stuff in Brisbane and the Gold Coast, but I mean the roots are there.
Chinchilla, I've done the judo club there.
Judo club, really?
Yeah, they used to do a gig there. I don't know. They with Mandy Nolan and Des Dillon. There's quite a few of us there.
Really?
But
How the audience?
great. It was in a hall.
Yeah.
But Chinchilla is quite out the way, isn't it?
Yeah, it's boondocks. It's like 3.5 hours drive inland.
At the roundabout, take the second exit onto Sunshine Motorway towards Noosa
Sorry.
Heads.
What do you think of my sat-nav voice?
Yeah,
a lot of people find it weird because it's a rare one, but it reminds me of Ultron from the Avengers.
Yes.
His voice. It's
right.
got that really
British. It's British.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
British robot.
British robot.
Chinchilla. And so what did your parents farmers or something? Or
No, real estate agents.
real estate agent in Chinchilla. I love it.
It's a bit like radio. Like they both lived in Brisbane, but to really start dominating the real estate game, you've got to go regional and get some chops. It's a bit like radio. You know, when they send you out to some
Toowoomba. Yeah.
shit ass. Oh, Toowoomba would be a
dream.
an absolute burn.
Moree.
Yeah. So you get your small town shops and you come back. It's not like nowadays where they just give any fuckhead with a clipboard a real estate license.
But
had some integrity back in the day.
how long? Sure.
Sure.
We'll take your word for it.
Sure.
No, you're right. That's true. It was more regulated. But how long did you stay in Chinchilla for then?
I was there until I was 7.
Oh, then where'd you go?
Gold Coast.
Oh, you're from the Goldie.
It's a real gear shift, that one.
Yeah, and how was it? But the Gold Coast then would have been great.
Yeah, it was great, except I was fat.
You were fat.
I was real fat. I'd been eating my feelings in Chinchilla for 7 straight years. And then, hit the Gold Coast, and everyone's in fucking great. And that's when I got body shame. Like the school I went to, they were calling me fatty because there weren't too many other fat kids at this one school at the Gold Coast.
Well, there weren't many fat kids at my school. I'm older than you, but fat kids. There was one fat kid in primary school, Peter Craig. I still remember his name. He was the only fat kid. He had red hair too.
Oh, the combo. I didn't have that. I had the stupid French name and fat, but the redhead would have been the trifecta.
So when did you lose? You're not fat at all now.
Thank you. No, I've been working on it. It's the golf and the not drinking really trims you
Oh, you
out.
don't drink?
Yeah.
How long have you not drank for?
4 months. So a long time.
I thought you could have like 20 years.
No, I was a real caner. I really hit it for a while there, and then I backed off just as my 43-year-old metabolism kicks in. So I got off the piss, and then that's shaved off the top layer of about 5-6 kilos. But I appreciate the compliment, Dio. And you look great. You got the Hawaiian shirt going on. Shame the podcast.
I've lost weight.
Can't see it.
I've actually lost weight since I last saw you.
And what was that innate of, and how did you do it?
I have a twin brother who weighs 75 kilos.
Gotcha.
So I was weighing 106.
Okay.
And he came over from Switzerland where he lives, and my wife just said, why is he... Because we're from the same egg. We're identical twins.
Yeah, okay.
So we used to look exactly the same at school. People would mistake us.
Yeah.
Then I got fat. And he went to Switzerland where they don't eat anything. There's not a lot of food going on in Switzerland. Cheese, but...
yeah. It's that high-octane French diet.
Yeah, muesli, green smoothies. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I've been fasting. I don't eat at night hardly anymore, and I don't eat up until midday. My eating window is about 6 or 7 hours.
Yeah, that's all you need to do, really, isn't it?
Well, it works. It works for me. It's worked for me so far.
Yeah. And you just eat. You still eat what you want. You don't say no to anything. That's the trick. You can't turn your back on your various food vices.
No.
Otherwise, it'll build up. A resentment will build up, and then you fall off the fucking wagon wheel.
Well, I just came from a hotel room where I was having corn chips and chocolate toffees. So.
But you're inside the window, so we're not.
Yeah, I'm inside the window. And so where did you do your first gig? You would have been doing comedy 15, 20 years?
It's
15?
20 years since the start, since open mic.
Wow.
That was 2003. But I moved to Sydney when I was 21. So I started doing comedy in Sydney, essentially. And I didn't do my first gig in Queensland until about 6 years in.
Oh, okay, yeah, right. Where was your first gig in Sydney?
Comedy Store.
Oh, that's pretty good.
It was good. It's Tuesday night open mic night. They used to have it.
The new location? I call it the new one. But
yeah, the new one at Fox Studios / Entertainment Quarter. I was actually a bartender at the Comedy Store, so I'd done some. I knew I wanted to try comedy, but I did a little bit of sneaky research. I needed a job, so I got a bar job there, and then I worked for about 6 weeks. Kind of kept my eye in and my ear in when I was in the theater, listening, watching, and then I did open mic and did pretty good the first time and really smashed it the second time and absolutely fucking bombed the third. That was all in a row. Like, that was 3 Tuesday nights in a row at the Comedy Store. So I got the full buffet. I got the spectrum.
That's not both those factors, being a waiter like Richard Stubbs, Marty Sheargold, the ones I can think of that were waiters at the Last Laugh in Melbourne.
Oh, yeah.
So, waiter, bartender, and that bombing. My first gig went okay, my second gig terrible.
And then third gig?
Can't remember the third one. I think it was alright.
You gotta. Do you reckon you gotta have? I think comics, if they have a pretty reasonable, they have no. If they're self-aware, you gotta have a fucking crush in your first 10 gigs.
Yes.
You've got to have at least one. Otherwise, most sane people just walk away from it. The insane stay.
Yes.
Like a stopped clock, refusing to believe that they're shit at this.
But we've both seen the phenomenon where a very average comic will go for years and they'll just do that one good gig every 6 months.
Yeah.
And that'll keep them going for another 6 months. And like, if only they didn't have that gig, they would have given up, which would have been good for them.
Yeah.
Good for their family, good for the industry.
Well, because often I find those comedians who are good twice a year also have a car that they'll drive you to gigs in.
Oh, yeah.
We let them stay. We keep them around for the petrol.
For the petrol. Yeah, well, anyway, I haven't seen you for a while, but you're normally a very good comic. I was saying Mick Nevin, who's organising this. We're doing the Sunshine Comedy Festival, Sunshine Coast Comedy Festival, which is spread across several venues. I'm staying in Maroochydore. We're driving to Noosa. But tomorrow night we're on in Caloundra, is it? Caloundra?
Yeah, at Your Mate's Brewery, which is a really big brewery, but it's really well decored, well themed, great beers.
And then at night, where are we on it?
I think we're on
in a theatre somewhere.
In a theatre not too far away from there.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so we got to just drop the mic and get to the next gig. They're working us. It's a compressed.
They are. But I'm saying, I've got to follow Jacques tomorrow night. That'll be hard because you're a good comic. There we go. I reckon you're hard to follow.
I'm only hard to follow in my home state of Queensland because I got the lay of the land.
I've seen you in Melbourne. You're pretty good.
Oh, thanks. That's because when I'm in Melbourne, I say I'm from Melbourne.
Yeah, and one of the worst things you can be when you're a Melbourne comic is the MC to go, anyway, we've got the next comic. He's from Melbourne, everybody. And then I've had people boo.
Yeah, it is.
It's like, don't say I'm from Melbourne.
Yeah.
I'll bring it up if I have to.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not going to pretend I'm a local, but...
When's the last gig you did in Queensland?
Oh, I did Cairns, but that was a corporate gig for mortgage brokers.
How'd that go?
Oh, great.
Yeah,
they were great. But they're a mixture of locals and southern staters. So, I do a lot of those kind of gigs, and that one was great. Cairns is a bit sketchy, though, I have to say.
Yeah, it's got some fucking pockets.
Oh, my God. So I did another gig there same time last year, and on a Tuesday night on the waterfront. And the woman said, do you want to lift back to your hotel? I'm like, it's a Tuesday night.
Take the second exit onto Sunshine Motorway towards Noosa.
I said, I'll be right, but I wasn't right. I walked the back streets. I didn't want to go on the Esplanade, which is sort of like a mini Gold Coast now.
Yeah,
it's
got all the lack of safety of Port Moresby. It's got it's something about
weird.
being on that equator and above, or that tropic line. It's hot. They're
drinking a lot.
It's a wet heat. And there's some fucking zip out there. There's some real, strange anger. There's a little bit of meth lingered around.
Yeah, and with the actual gigs, they're often loose because they're southern state people who can't handle the heat, and so they drink.
Yeah.
But also, so I walked down these streets, and a guy with a shopping trolley charged at me. There was a fight. There were drunks. There were people yelling out. I'm like, oh my God. But you know what I did last time I was in Cairns? I drove up into the mountains to Coranda, which was really nice. That was beautiful. That's
some
nice.
Nice spots out there. You go a bit further north, you're up into Port Douglas. Then you got Cape Tribulation. You got a couple of really good reptile parks.
What's the furthest you've done up there?
The furthest I've ever gone is Cape Tribulation. I did for a small patch live in Port Douglas, which is an hour's north of Cairns, and then Cape Tribulation is a bit further north.
Have you done a gig at Cooktown right at the top, or?
No, that's as far north as I've ever gone in Queensland.
What's that like? I'd like to go there.
Way up north, like
Yeah.
up to the Gulf of Carpentaria and whatever. I think it'd be Darwin 2.0. A lot of people hiding from shit they did in Darwin.
Yeah. Anyway, we're here. We're in Jacques' car. He is currently of no fixed address. He told me.
Yeah,
You're just like a gypsy, basically.
proper road dog.
Yeah, which is not unusual in this country, but that's quite rare, really. Most people have a house they live in,
Yeah,
but you don't.
yeah. I'm sort of rent free. I mean, I work on cruise ships, and they occupy at least, I'd say, 5 months of the year. I'm on one, give or take. Coming and going from one, so there's accommodation taken care of, and then I get the VW Golf full of my fucking gear and my 17 flannelette shirts that I interchange, and then some golf clubs as well.
Right. Yeah, some would say you're living the dream.
It's pretty good.
Some would say you're almost homeless. Some would say that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that.
Yeah, I just don't know what a lot of these homeless people are complaining about. You know.
Mate. Anyway, keep listening. We're doing the opening night gala of the Sunshine Coast Comedy Festival. We will return. We'll let you know how the gig goes. I think it'll be pretty good, actually. It's in the theatre.
The J is the theatre. The J. It's great, and it holds about 380, and I don't think we're too far off that. Yesterday when I checked ticket sales, so it'll be good.
Fantastic. All right. Noosa. Do some Noosa jokes. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Second exit onto Street 70.
If anyone wants to track us, you know where we are. Let's do this. Hang on.
I'm just gonna charge it up.
No, just let it run. I just don't say anything libelous. No, because sometimes it just picks up on. Anyway, I do. And welcome back to the debrief. Oh,
Take the first exit onto
I was waiting for that to finish, but
Wait till we get out of these.
yeah, we
There's more
need to.
roundabouts here in Canberra.
Well, Ben Knight, who's from around here, who was on the bill and did great, said they removed all the traffic lights and put in roundabouts in Noosa.
Yeah,
That's a real thing.
it's a real good idea to be honest, because the fucking traffic lights on the Sunshine Coast are
They go forever.
world record, like longest red lights stays. It took me. I don't want to talk about it. And it's
No,
not
it's-
a
That's
good
the roundabout.
podcast.
Take the
Here
first
it is.
exit onto Walter
Another
Drive.
roundabout.
Here he is.
More roundabouts in Canberra, everyone. Anyway, the gig was great. It was a line-up show at the theatre to launch the Sunshine Comedy Festival. You had the headline, Jacques, and you smashed it.
Thank you, sir.
It was great.
Couldn't have done it without you. It was
Oh.
such a great foundation, a great band.
Oh, no.
You
well,
got them straight away, out of the gates. They were on board straight
They
away.
were good, but yeah, I did get slightly thrown when the guy down the front who was wearing a shirt with the not Wind in the Willows, that kid's book,
That's the
Where the
roundabout.
Wild Things.
Where the Wild Things Are,
Walter Drive.
and he said he had 10 kids
Yeah.
with the same woman who was sitting next to him, and one of the kids, an adult child, 10 kids, and then I got him to list all the kids' names, and there were some normal ones, like Ella was there, but there were some whacked out ones
Yeah,
too.
there was like, was it Huxley?
Huxley,
Huxley?
Tarquine, maybe?
Tarquin?
There was no Tarquine. I talk about Tarquin, but there was a Tarquine. It was some weird Avalia,
Avalia?
and he was a cameraman. He said. Oh, anyway, so
Okay.
that's I got a lot of good laughs out of that, but then it threw me a little bit. And anyway, and then there was a guy called Mark who was I talk about CPAP machines, and he was a CPAP designer. It's bizarre.
Really? And I think you brought it up. You're like, they could use a bit of fucking zhuzh.
Yes, they're not sexy at all.
Nah.
They're the ultimate contraception. But anyway, it was a good gig, and you were great. I haven't seen you since I don't know when, but anyway, you were great.
Thank you.
Your accents are very good. When you do a character, when you inhabit the old man,
Yeah.
which is your dad, or just that country
Yeah.
country old bloke.
That's what happens when you work on cruise ships. You start to get like I got a full spectrum of old man voices. So I've got, when I'm doing an impression of my dad, that's one old man. Then I've got 2 or 3 other old men who are at various ages. You can sense from them, one's 60, one's 70, one's like 95.
Give us a 95-year-old. How's he go?
I can't really.
Can't do it.
I
He just
do
can't.
it.
He's not a monkey, all right? He's like a dance for the. He's not a monkey on demand.
But
Performing monkey.
I've got recordings of it. We'll edit.
Yeah, we can put. Yeah. You look it on. You have stuff on Facebook and that.
That character, like whenever I do a character, that's what I enjoy the most, is going deep and getting the accent right and getting the mannerisms right, because it's just a joy. Because we do this material, like you do a lot more crowd work than I do, but when I do a lot of just of my own stand up, and because I do it so much, a lot of the same material, I gotta love it. I've got to love it, and it's got to be a joy to do. So each of those acts come from a place of not just accurate descriptions of different characters, personas, and whatever. It comes from a place of like I actually want to enjoy having a true fucking break from myself.
Yeah, it's just good. It's
complete commitment to the character.
Yeah, and you do commit to it. It's there should be more of it. It's very funny.
But there, you would know. I'm not sure if you do much. You don't do many accents and voices, do you?
I do. Yeah, I do a bit. I do my son. I do. I used to do. Oh God, you know, the guy at the doll office.
Classic.
But I do.
In 5.3 kilometers at the roundabout.
You're right. I've got to think about more about accents.
People love it.
They do, and yeah, you didn't do one of my favourite routines, which is the Gallipoli one, where that's where you talk about. I can't remember a lot of it, but how.
I'll be honest with you, I haven't
done that for a while.
I haven't done that in about 2 years.
Yeah,
I haven't
because
done it. I mean, I almost can't even remember. I can't remember
it's just like how all the tourists go to Gallipoli, and the Turkish bloke gets up and looks out his window and goes, "I thought we won the war." Like, I thought we won that one. What the hell are these guys, Aussies, doing here?
Right. Australia's. We've got a defence. We've got a defense mechanism that no one else on this planet fucks with, is that if you invade us or attack us or kill Australians, we go back to where you're from on holidays for a century.
Well, Vietnam's the same. Vietnam.
Yep.
Go to Vietnam, go to the tunnels from Cu Chi and all that.
Yeah.
You know,
it's like America needs to respond straight away if they get invaded. And they need to put soldiers, they need to put army boots on foreign soil, but we're like, double pluggers in 10 years time is way worse.
Yeah, it's true.
And then
true.
fuck, I can't remember. I'll have to dust that one off.
It's a good routine. I remember you when I asked you about it last time, you said on cruise ships it can be a bit, because just when I've noticed this over the years, when you mention just a subject like Anzac, people go very quiet.
Yeah.
You know, it's like talking about politics or you know, like I don't know, so those sort of topics, like, you know, there's other topics like it where people
Steve
go.
Irwin, I've noticed people.
Yeah,
really
in Queensland particularly, I reckon.
Yikes.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned Dawn Fraser and got ooh, which a joke I've done for years. How I look like Dawn Fraser, but she must be is she a Queenslander?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Steve Irwin. Oh God.
Can't. These are like iconic things that people really aren't that offended.
No.
If you talk about them, but people start at the initial bringing up of the topic will go, oh, as in, be fucking careful, mate.
Yeah, that's what they're doing.
I will
be careful.
I'll be fine. Everyone grow up.
Anyway, it was very enjoyable.
But I don't do that on cruise ships. But I do talk about my brother went on even though I said I'm an only child to you earlier, I actually have an older brother that my parents had a child 10 years before I was born, and they adopted him out because they were too young to raise a child.
Oh, wow.
And then they got back together after that and married and then had me. And then...
And so when did he come into the picture for you?
3 years ago.
Oh, my God.
He found mum. I found found mum on Instagram.
Wow.
Did Ancestry.com.
Take the second exit onto
So he'd be in his
What is-
50s, this guy.
He's 53.
Yeah.
So he put his DNA into Ancestry.com with his whole family, and then they found this web of DNA, this whole wing of the family, which is my uncle and whatever, and then did some more exploring.
And is he in Queensland or?
Yes. Yeah, he's up in a town called Nanango, which is about 2.5 hours inland from the Sunshine Coast. And we met, my dad and I went out to meet him maybe 2.5 years ago. And he's such a good dude, good country bloke. He's got 3 kids, 2 grandkids, got a whole web of family. So the pressure's off me to actually have kids.
And is he a farmer or something like that? Or?
He's an electrician at Sparky.
Sparky.
He runs.
Good job.
Great fucking job.
Decent job, trade.
And he's a good bloke. And he is...
Does he look like you?
Sort of. There's resemblance. He's 6'4". He's a fucking
giant.
He's huge. He's got these huge fucking hands.
Was your dad tall or your mum?
Yeah, dad's 6'3", mum's 5'8". So he's got a bit of shtup.
How old? You'd be 6 foot, wouldn't you?
Just on, yeah. But he's a big unit.
And
the whole family is.
Was that meeting emotional or just sort of matter of fact, kind of?
It was really organic, to be honest. It was very natural. It wasn't... I was a little bit nervous about it. I was more nervous because, I've always wanted to know, ever since I was 19 and Mum and Dad told me that I had a brother. I've always wanted to meet him. But at the same time, I was told by a couple of people who were adopted, like, you don't really want to meet your biological family necessarily. In case...
No.
In case they're shitheads, or in case...
That happened to one of my relatives who was adopted, and she said it just confirmed everything she thought about herself. And I said, well, what? She said, they were just sort of losers. That was her words. I said, well, what do you mean they were losers? She said they were living in a caravan park, but not by the ocean, in a very like somewhere like Moree in New South Wales or something like that. Like you're a long way from the ocean, but you're in a caravan park, but you're struggling.
Yep.
And so she'd always thought, I'm a loser. Now I've met my real mum and dad, and they're losers, and all this.
Oh,
and
God.
I'm like, oh god,
Jesus.
Yeah, no good.
Yeah, so it's not a... Yeah. So I was aware of that potentially, but he found us, and then when we went out to meet him, I go out and visit them. Dad is currently living with he's farm sitting for one of his neighbours. It's the best thing that's happened to
Oh,
the entire
wow.
family.
Great.
Apart from me, obviously. It's the best thing to happen to his family.
Yeah, apart from you.
Obviously.
Apart from the only child.
But he was telling me about a cruise ship he went on it was a cruise ship from Turkey, and it was actually going from Trieste, I think, in Italy, and it was going to Turkey, and it was on Anzac Day.
Oh.
And it was full of Australians, and the cruise ship director and everyone on the cruise ship didn't know. They didn't know anything about Anzac Day. This was like, I don't know why they didn't know Anzac Day.
I thought it'd be like an Anzac Day cruise.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It was just a normal cruise. Maybe I don't know how they didn't fucking know, but they found out. They worked it out pretty quick. When like 2/3, it's usually old people from England and America, and it's just all the people of all ages, and 3/4 of the cruise is Australian. And they ran out of beer at, I think it was 6 p.m. day one of this, and I was like, there's about to be another international incident.
Yes.
And he said the captain turned around and went back to port, and he called up and they had I think like 8 pallets of Peroni brought down to the dock, ship docked, and then they got like these forklifts, put all the Peroni onto the boat, to the applause of all the Australians over the side of the ship.
Fantastic.
Just clapping and cheering.
Great. Come on, Aussie, come on.
Just a proper fucking Australian moment.
Australian, mate. Australian. Yeah, well, oh wow, what a cruise to be on. All right, well, I'll ask you the questions that I always ask on this podcast. So what went well tonight in the gig for you?
Probably the MC.
Oh, that's me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great. We didn't have to say that. What didn't go well?
I opened with it. You came. I said, "Give it up to Dave O'Neill," and everyone clapped. And then you came back out. I didn't realize you come back out. And just looked over and I saw, you just popped out for a little curtain call.
A little joke.
And I made a comment about your Hawaiian shirt, and it got nothing.
Bought it at the airport. I thought it was funny.
Oh, it's cute. It's funny. But they were like, "Don't you fucking say that."
Oh, mate, we love that fat guy.
What? It's like they didn't even know you were fat. That's how good the Hawaiian shirt is.
Yeah, they just thought, man, it's a big shirt.
But anyway, they got nothing, and then from there I was like, okay. It was a little bit uphill to begin with. They weren't quite sold on me, so it took a bit of time to build them up. But once
you were smashing it.
5 minutes in or so, they relaxed. They probably were fine. I probably just had an energy which was, I was hoping that would get more laughs out of the gates, and then But
it can be funny. It can be funny. Sometimes you go, this gig's going to be easy. You walk on and within 5 minutes you're sweating going, Jesus Christ.
I way rather.
Sunshine Motorway towards Maroochydore.
I'd much rather a show that looks like, the chips are down.
Yeah.
No one's laughing, this is going to be tough. Than it's like a pull shot, a straight pull shot. Straight on, this will be easy. I fuck those up all the time.
I can fuck them up. You won't fuck them up. You're going to love it. It's great out there. Oh, no, it's really good. You're going to love it.
Take the second exit to merge onto Sunshine Motorway towards Maroochydore.
And then in the back of your head, you're like, he said it was great out here. This is shit.
Yeah. But that's the thing is, sometimes you get a little bit complacent.
I reckon.
You don't take the time to work out why they're laughing. You just go, they're laughing at everything.
Yeah.
Okay, why are they laughing? What are they? You're not analysing the fact that every other actor's probably gone out there and really catered their act to this audience.
And
that's why.
True.
Yeah, some fucking credit for the comedians who've done their due diligence.
Yes.
And then you get out there, I might do some new ideas.
Yeah.
If they're that good, and then the first new idea, you make that mistake of opening with something brand new, and the crowd's like,
what?
Fuck.
What is this?
Claw it back. But yeah, that's the thing I didn't quite enjoy. But I enjoyed the challenge of trying to win them back.
Oh, you won them easily.
Thank you.
They loved you. You got applause breaks. There's the other question, organisational hazards that got in the way. Pretty good. In terms of gigs, it was a very good setup.
It's a great setup. I mean, you couldn't fault the. I've done that theatre before. It's a great theatre because it's not a big theatre.
It's great.
It's not impersonal. It's still got some. It's like 380, 400 people, but it's still intimate.
It's great.
And the audience. I guess the biggest obstacle is not an obstacle, but and we all looked out into the audience before we did the show. And had a look at the demographic. Just sort of had a look at the age we're dealing with. I'm not sure if you did it. I think you just went out cold.
No, I had a look. But for me, older people are good. But they weren't. They're sort of middle-aged.
Yeah, but they looked. They were middle-aged to look at, but I don't think their energy was necessarily that middle-aged.
No.
It's strange. I don't know. I just feel like maybe looking at that audience did not give all of us an accurate read on who they were and what they were going to laugh at.
Yeah, true. They were very good.
But man, I couldn't fault it. It's Sunshine Coast Comedy Festival.
Well done.
Well done.
How can we do better next time? That's the last question. What about accommodate us in Noosa?
That could be a thing. It could be a thing. It's just a cheeky 40-minute drive there, 40-minute drive back.
Jacques Barret, thanks for coming on the podcast.
A pleasure.
You can see, you put stuff up on Facebook, is it? Instagram? TikTok? Instagram.
Yeah, the go-to.
What's your handle?
At JB Championi.
Championi, that's from one of your routines. At JB Championi, Jacques Barret. Originally from Chinchilla, ladies and gentlemen. There he goes.
Thanks.